Busch Gardens Williamsburg is probably one of the most beautiful parks in the entire world, and with that comes an amazing coaster lineup. Now, Pantheon is not going to be on this list because when I visited the park, the ride had not opened yet. So be sure to tell me your top 3 coasters at Busch Gardens Williamsburg in the comments, and without any more further ado, let's get into the list. I'm just kidding. Man, I'm pretty sure someone just almost jumped out of their skin reading that. My actual number 8 is... Well, what is there to really say about this thing other than it's a decent kiddie coaster? In the back row of the train, you get a slight bit of zip down the first drop, and both helices are moderately fast-paced feeling, but other than that, it's just a fun and smooth kiddie coaster. Next up is Tempesto. I actually enjoy the layouts of Skyrocket 2s, but I despise the train design. Oh my god, these trains suck to get in and out of, and just for comfort in general. Now, I'm not going to go too far into the trains because I might do a video on my favorite and least favorite train design, but all I'm going to say is these restraints are awful. The layout itself is pretty fun, but it is a clone, so it's not that interesting. Walking slightly down the path is our number 6 coaster, Apollo's Chariot. Right off the bat, I want to say that I did enjoy Apollo's Chariot, it's just not my style of ride. I personally much prefer a more intense and fast-paced coaster, so the original Beam and Hyper was never going to be my favorite coaster. Although Apollo is still the coaster that I have ridden the most times in a row, with 22 times. The airtime isn't super strong, but it is very sustained, and the ride is still super smooth with a great setting. I want nobody to take this as I think the ride is bad, it's just not as good as everyone says. The tallest coaster in the park is up next on our list, and this is Griffon. While I'm not the biggest fan of dive coasters overall, I will say that this is one of my favorites. First things first, this ride feels massive because you're able to walk right next to the huge lift hill and drop. I did notice some seats closer to the end of the rows and some seats on the back row had a slight shuffle to them, but it didn't distract from the ride's forces. And on the topic of forces, because this ride has a classic over-the-shoulder restraints instead of the vest, you were able to feel the awesome airtime on both of those drops and in Speed Hill before the splashdown. Overall, Griffon is a really fun ride that everyone can enjoy. While not the most extreme coaster in the world, Verbolten packs a surprising punch, especially during the indoor section. This is another coaster I had kind of low expectations for going into, because I thought it was just going to be a basic family coaster. But it actually packs some serious positive G's, and the launch was pretty kicky. The ride is a bit shaky during some sections, but I am able to look past that because of how good the layout is. Although I wouldn't mind if I never heard that annoying lady in the station again.
We're glad to see you've escaped to the forest. Please lift up on your safety harness and...
I'm just gonna say that I adore this ride, and I really don't know why. I know it sounds dumb, but every time I rode this coaster, I got the biggest grin on my face, even though this ride is objectively super boring. I think I just like how janky all the track work is, and how the first 2 drops, you get standing ejector airtime. Loch Ness is just a joy to ride, and I refuse to let anyone tell me differently. I already know I'm gonna get crap for this, but I had a blast on one of the most underrated rides in the US, Invader. I honestly don't understand why people don't like this ride, because when I rode it, it was absolutely throwing me in every way imaginable. The airtime was that weird bumpy floater that you get on old wooden coasters. The laterals were insane, maybe on the far turnaround, and pacing was non-stop. From the moment you detach from the lift hill to the moment you hit the final brakes. Until recently, this was my favorite ride in the park, but upon looking back on my visit, one ride snaked up in my rankings. What can I say about this ride other than holy crap? Alpengeist is the largest B&M ever built, standing at just shy of 200 feet. And what it does with its speed it gains from the height is one of the most demented coaster layouts ever designed. I know for some people, the ride is a bit uncomfortable with how quickly it snaps through its elements, but for someone like me who loves breakneck intense rides, it is right up my alley. While the mid-course does kill the ride's pacing and speed, it leads to a very unique and floaty second half, with some odd hang time that still somehow is whippy. Overall, this is a fantastic ride that looks and rides the part as the best coaster at the most beautiful park I've ever visited. Now, real quickly before I end this video, I want to show you where I think Pantheon and Dark Coaster would rank in my list when I get around to riding them. I believe Pantheon would slot in at the number 3 spot due to it not looking super intense, but still having those few moments of pure insanity. For Dark Coaster, I think it would be at number 7 due to us not knowing much about it, but for what we do know, it will be more geared towards a family demographic. With that out of the way, I can wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next week with a new video. R.C.E. Kingston, signing out. Goodbye.